let's be clear, the
Yeah.
America's past is rife with racial discrimination, race riots, black people being subjugated, black people being lynched, black people being held in chains and in slavery. And so, what the modern Democratic left is doing is that they are weaponizing the stains of America's
Mm.
history today to
Right.
try to keep black voters voting Democrat. And if you ever have an opportunity to have these conversations about detailed policy, some of it ends in phrases like from some black people, not all. I just don't trust. I can't trust these Republicans because these Republicans don't stand for people of color and all this other nonsense.
Right.
Forgetting the actual
Right.
policy arguments. Like, let's discuss the policy. What helps you earn more money? What helps you pass on generational wealth to your kids? What's going to help you start a business or maintain a business? What's going to help you access a pathway or a ladder of success? What's going to help you keep your community safe? What's going to help keep the nation's border safe? What foreign policy is going to keep us out of wars as opposed to having us be interjected into these foreign conflicts? And when you go issue by issue, you find that a lot of people, not just black people, but people across the spectrum agree with common sense Republican policy, conservative policy. But then when you listen to the political rhetoric and the Democrats inject the racial arguments, people of
Constantly.
color, Joe
Constantly.
Biden saying, "Oh, they're gonna put you back in chains." That was a Joe Biden statement. Or Joe Biden saying, "If you can't decide who to vote for, then you ain't black."
Right.
Or and I'll this is one personal to me. I have some of my black Democratic colleagues. They run around with this stupidness talking about, well, oh, all skin folk ain't kin folk, like stupid stuff like that. By the way, Jillian, they'll never debate me one on one because they've had many of opportunities and they pass
Yeah, they
on that.
never
They don't
show
want to
up.
stand toe to
They
toe,
never
but
show
they
up.
do it. And the purpose is to bring the emotions that are real about America's past to force people into an emotional political decision as opposed to a rational, moral, logical political
I've
decision.
noticed that somehow the identity politics never play out when it doesn't serve their purpose, like you're talking about. Because I'm thinking, I've got a black man saying to this woman, "Do you think I'm the Third Reich? Do I look like the Third Reich to you?" And for example, when some Earl Sears, who's running for governor in Virginia, has been viciously attacked by the left. And I'm like, okay, this is the first black woman ever elected to the position of lieutenant governor in the state. She's a small business owner. She's a Marine corporal. I mean, a truly impressive individual. And they hate her. And the left
Yeah.
has sent hideous messages of racism to her, not the politicians, but leftists that have been posted using the most disgusting slurs that harken back to, the KKK kind of a thing. So I'm thinking, hold on, this should be your liberal dream. A woman of color who's a Marine corporal running for governor of Virginia? And yet, no, not her. Or not you, a black guy who's running for governor of Florida. No, 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 no. No, but he's a member of the Third Reich. It's fascinating how all of a sudden all this sort of DEI, all of this stuff that they preach goes away when you don't bend a knee to their ideology. It just crumbles and falls apart. And I would say to you, why do you think there's a narrative that Republicans are racist? I don't see it, but what am I missing here? Why do people see that? What would you say to black Americans that think that?
A lot of it really stems from the fact that most Republican officials are white, elected officials are white, and that's
Okay.
mostly where
Yeah,
it stems from. And
that's
so
fair.
again, they're using the emotions of America's past to try to insinuate, like, well, oh, see, they're all white. There's no room
Mm,
for you in that party.
okay.
So when Winsome comes along, or I come along, or even before us, Alan West, and so many others, Mia Love, God rest her soul, when she came along. Now you have Wesley Hunt, John James, Burgess Owens, Tim Scott, myself. When we come along and we're like, well, no, we believe this,
Yeah.
they just can't even treat us like a typical Republican.
Nope.
They have to dehumanize us, they have to disparage us, they have to try to dissemble us because what we do is we destroy the Democrat narrative in American politics today. It was actually pretty interesting. The Supreme Court was going through their oral arguments around Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. And you had Ketanji Brown Jackson, black woman, Supreme Court justice, basically say in a very legal and esoteric way that, essentially being black in America is similar to being disabled in America. Like that's literally was the argument that she was making in her questions. Now, it's interesting that she made that point because I'm a black man. My congressional district is 82% white. So explain that to me. Wesley Hunt's a black man. His congressional district is majority white. I don't know the full percentage, but it's majority white. Explain it. Or Burgess Owens or John James in Michigan. Winsome Sears is running to be the governor of Georgia. She was the lieutenant governor, I mean, of
Virginia.
Virginia. She was a lieutenant governor of Virginia. So explain that one to me. They can't. So what they typically do with black Republicans in particular, and even, Hispanic Republicans, they do it there too. They ignore us. And if they can't ignore us, which, in my case, they really can't ignore me anymore, then they try to dehumanize and try to separate us from black people in America, saying,
Right.
oh, he's not one of you,
Nope.
or oh, he's an Uncle Tom, or
Tom.
whatever the case might be. Which, by the way, if they actually read the book, then
Uncle
I'll leave
Tom
it
was
alone.
the good guy.
I'll
My
leave it alone.
friend
No,
Kaizen,
don't need to
my
go down
friend
that road. I'll
Kaizen
leave it
taught me
alone.
that one, but I am aware of that.
But
He's like, I
yeah,
actually read the book, and Uncle Tom was the good guy. Read the book,
but
yeah, because you'll be
but my
clipped
point
and you'll
is,
be the
yeah.
ultimate monster without anybody actually having read the book. But I am aware of that.
Exactly. But I mean, but this is what happens in politics today. And I'll say it again. For the Democrats, and you made a point about all their DEI policies, here's the truth. They don't care about DEI. They don't care about that. They don't care about any of those programs. What they care about is political power. So they use DEI, they use CRT, they use radical language, they use dehumanizing language, they use emotional arguments to maintain political power
Right.
because for them, it's about political power. And if anybody messes up the ability for them to have political power, they get thrown under the bus faster than anything else. Don't believe me? Exhibit A is Joe Biden, the auto pen. Because when he was no longer useful to the Democrats maintaining political power, they threw him overboard in a heartbeat. And look, Kamala Harris, she's probably never coming back because if she's an impediment to them having political power in America, they're going to throw her overboard too. That is a fact. And that's how the Democrat Party operates. So I think the more that people get a chance to hear kind of the behind the scenes, and this is a dialogue you can't really get on cable news because we're usually in and out
I
on
know
on
it's
a
five
topic.
minutes. It's so
Yeah,
frustrating.
it's frustrating, but when you have this kind of dialogue, I think it really helps people to really understand the overall broader dynamics that are impacting the country politically. And if we can solve that hurdle, at least get enough people to see it,
Yeah.
I actually believe the American people will not just vote for, but support a common sense policy which will allow America to continue to be the greatest nation in the land or in the world, or the way the president says it, make America great again.